I'm WG, Season 2 just started, and we'll be using this opportunity to give you everything you need to know on what changed with the season, how do you unlock the perks in the season, where do you even start, and what's kind of your goals so that you don't feel too lost with the amount of content that has been dumped on your head. Next off as well, also shout out to Smilegate for sponsoring this video, the devs behind CZN, so thank you very much. Alrighty, now that we have that out of the way, let's start off with the season itself. The season itself starts in the story, and the moment you make it past the underground arena here, or maybe the 88 hours path, you will then also unlock the new planet. The new planet is called Burning Life, and it works in a similar vein to how the planet in the first season worked. If you're not familiar with that, that means that you have this currency right here. It doubles as both currency to buy items for the season, but also to reroll the planet, which means changing the modifiers and also getting different save data value. Can be a little confusing, but at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you get a map you can clear, and the more confident you get with the game, the higher you want to push your save data value tier, and you then have the ability to roll through different substats to make sure that you get the map that you want or even can beat. So that is the Burning Life planet. That also puts or comes together with the weekly progress, and that is your weekly mission is to beat 2 difficulties of Burning Alive once you make it past difficulty 5, or I think in total 3 runs if you, for example, play 1 through 4. So that is then the weekly progress currency. There will then also be progress and rewards for you just playing the game, picking different choices, pushing your exploration level, which unlocks for you more gear, more cards, more rewards. And that then also gives you a bunch of seasonal currency, where then the seasonal store comes in. So the seasonal store is going to be split into 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be the first 3 weeks of the season. Part 2 is going to be week 4 to 6, and then the part 3 is going to be week 7 to 9. Overall, we are always going to get a flash of potential, as well as at minimum 5 premium and 5 standard summons, on top of a free stamina item, as well as also 5 fashion banner summons with a huge amount of rewards that can help you push the level of your character, push the level of your partners, push the level of your weapons, and also a character's potential. So everything you could need to rise up any order character, or even 9 specifically. And yeah, these are all the rewards you can get here, and then they will, as you can see, unlock in 20 days. If you're wondering where it is, or heard about something like an Omega Dupe, which is the ability to get a dupe for any character in the game, past, present, or future, this one is also featured in the second supply, so it will also unlock in 3 weeks time. So that is the super baseline, bringing us to the current new combatants. The season started with 9. 9 is a Order Vanguard that specializes in single target damage and honestly absolutely annihilating enemies. I already myself snagged myself 9, and I already ran a few runs with her. We had around like an 8-hour stream just testing her out, and I can already confidently say that she's an absolute blast to play. I would probably rank her anywhere from tier 0 for chaos, and the rest still needs to be proven, right, due to the season being this new. But at least in chaos she shreds everything, and yeah, my best team recommendation on the joke side of things is she solos, right? You can really run her and anybody in the team, and then your turns just consist of incredible amounts of just playing Hughes. These Hughes, you will always have them in your hand, you will always be able to use them, and you'll always be able to do a crap ton of damage with them. So that is 9, and then 9 also has a new exclusive partner, Isaiah, who as well as every other 4 and 5-star partner in the game got a buff that they all now multiplicatively boost the character's main stat, in this case for example for 9 defense. But then she also works in a way that you now deal more damage for every second or for every exhaust based attack card you use. So you use an exhaust based attack card, then you get the damage bonus, then you use one that uses it up but gives you another bonus. and then you also get a shield, so a mix between damage and survivability, as well as also a ego skill, which is a 5-stack debuff that multiplicatively increases the damage taken of an enemy from 20% to up to 30% if you trigger this while she has a shield. So these are the new characters, all of them definitely worthy of pickup, and also non-limited units, meaning they will move after their banner ends into the standard pool of characters. So now let's talk about the biggest changes, the biggest improvements to the season, and also playing or the way this game works as a whole, and that is right here in the chaos section under the zero system. If you've played the zero system before, your zero system was now reset and provided you this currency, this new currency right here. I don't know what they call it. Let's see, the Chaos Architect currency. And even if you didn't play it before, you will now be able to earn Chaos Architect currency every time you finish a run. The purpose of this Chaos Architect currency is to increase the passive stats of your entire team throughout every Chaos run. But then there is also two gigantic highlights in here, and that is in the Authority expansion section, the Cognitive Reconstruction, which is the new feature that allows you to reroll in Epiphany, which is an upgrade to a card into another one should you not like the choice you made, at the cost of credits, which can be done at every single resting place. And then the final one is in the administrator mode, in the identification signal duplication, which is the option to select a combatant every time you're doing a copy event, which then allows you to pick between 3 cards of a single combatant, which makes it irrelevant to how the rest of your team is built. Your copy chances will always only be based on 1 character. One of the advantages here is that if a character has 2 unique cards, which are cards that can't be copied, then that means that you're guaranteed to get the copy choice you want. For example, on a 9, you wouldn't be able to copy Hue, you wouldn't be able to copy Counterblade, which means every single copy choice is going to be between Fatal Strike, Experience Strike, or Fighting Spirit, allowing you to exactly build the deck you desire. Or even on characters where you don't have the option to go with 2 unique cards, you still have an incredibly high chance to get the copies you want, to build the deck you want, and to make it as strong as you desire. Now there is a trick to unlocking this early, and that is this reset button. What this reset button does is it gives you back all the points you've spent in a singular category, and due to how this works, if you play the zero system and you beat a planet, right? So the unlock conditions are the first upgrades you get upon just unlocking the zero system. You unlock these upgrades upon beating a tier difficulty 6 planet, and you unlock the final ones upon beating a difficulty 8 planet. Beating planets in its system falls a bit of like a rank up system, where you take a planet of, let's say, level 55, you beat it, and then you get a planet that is between 4 and 8 levels higher. That is how you push a planet's level, and according with the planet's level, the planet's difficulty also rises, capping out at 10 the moment you hit level 76. So what this means is that you can then use your points on just one category specifically, so that you can unlock every single option, because if you focus your points on one category, you'll be able to unlock it faster. So for example, for you, the administrator mode would only show, let's say, 4 items right here: the increase to delegation, the attack, and the HP. But then you can use your points from having reset these other conditions to then fully unlock the next section and level up this section, so that you at some point then have fully unlocked the entire tree. So then, as the final touch, you'll be able to obviously over time accumulate more and more of these resources to fully level up your characters in terms of getting extra attack, extra defense, and extra stats. But in the beginning, you can focus on the guaranteed copy, the increased elite area, or the increased monster card chance. you have the increased Divine Epiphany chance, you have increased Epiphany chances by themselves, you have higher chances for rare grade areas, so you can focus on those things that speak to you until you then have enough currency to unlock it all. While we're already here in the Zero system, there also has been a new introduction of not only save data tier 15, which allows you to save more things in your deck, but also the introduction of Divine Intervention maps. Divine Intervention maps are also tier 15, but they have a 40% chance of appearing every time you do a tier 15 map, and the difference here is that this one clearly states tier 15, where these other maps state which divine entity is the one whose challenge you're taking on, and these fights are significantly harder with debuffs like increasing your damage taken, upgraded stats, but also cannot obtain save data. These stages are meant as challenges to learn more about the lore of divine gods, but also to get more gems as a reward for unlocking that lore, and also to gain a massive amount of chaos orbs, which can be used to reset and reroll maps, as well as also crystals of discord, which can be exchanged in a shop for rewards, making these high stake battles where you just try your best to survive a true roguelike experience. Another new feature is the Distortion adaptation. It allows you to use any character in your entire roster, regardless of them being leveled or not, by the game providing you a gear set with stats that are recommended for the character. They are also providing character potential, character level ups, and even leveled up partners for you to use and experience, so that you can play a character, already even build save data for a character without having to invest into the character, so that whenever you're finished and whenever you feel like you really want to play the character in other content, you can then confidently invest into said character after having had the chance to try them out and get to know them for yourself. So now for the final part, let's talk about how save data works and how it gets calculated in a quick and comprehensive guide. So the save data memory cap is always your tier times 10 plus 20. So for example, a tier 15 run would be 170 points, and then if you for example enable nightmare mode, it would be plus 1 tier, so 160, and then plus 20, so 180 save data being the current cap. Then any changes you make to these 8 cards are the ones that truly influence your save data count. The most important things you need to know is that there's now a limit to removing 5 cards, but that won't really affect you. But what changed is that it's now 20 save data per card, making it a lot easier to keep track. So if I remove 2 basic cards, that means I have a save data cost of 40. If I remove all 3, that's a save data cost of 60. Now then, the other highlight would be copying cards. Copying cards has also been massively simplified in that the first, second and third, or better said, copying the base card once costs you nothing, copying it again costs you nothing, while copying it for the third and final time costs you 40. So for example, here we have removed 2 basics and then also copied a card 3 times, meaning 40 save data cost from removing the basics, 40 save data cost from getting 3 additional copies. Obviously it's total copies, not just of one specific card. And then the rest of our save data, which is a massive 170 points, comes from divines. If you add a divine on top of anything, that is going to be a save data cost of 20, whereas then neutral cards themselves, if you were to add in an additional card from the outside, like for example the Azure Lumen right here, this would be a 20 save data cost endeavor. Where also now, if you've played the game before, you know about these cards. Monster cards will now also have save data costs associated with their value at the top, in 20 for white cards, 50 for blue cards, and 80 for golden cards. So that is monster cards. Now then, the biggest and the most interesting, most important feature about the new season is gear stats. The way this works out is that you will be able to not only get new gear pieces, new cards and the like, which you should experience for yourself, but then you'll also find a tunnel. Every time you enter into a chaos, you'll find a tunnel icon on the map. Once you head there, they lead you into the arena. Once you battle your way through the arena, you get a 3 selection out of 20 different buffs that you can apply on your gear on top of what is already on the gear piece. So you can see it indicated by this helmet icon right here. We added, for example, a 25% damage bonus to exhaust based cards, and the same is true for our weapon, where we also added a increase to 2 cost or higher cards in terms of damage. So you can add exactly 2. And then the final touch is this hammer. This hammer is the God's Hammer, which is your reward upon beating the final boss, and allows you to apply an additional gear stat onto a piece. So for example, the base is 12 crit damage, the arena gear gives us the attack base damage, and the final hammer gives us, when taking damage, mark on the attacker. This final stat right here is taken from every gear piece in the entire game. And what you need to know about it is it makes your character stronger, but also every one of these icons, so the headpiece, the hammer, and the other headpiece, so these 3 increases are all 10 save data each. So then, as for example the final calculation here, we removed 2 basics for 40, we did 4 copies for an additional 40, which makes it 80, and then it's 100, 120, 140, and then plus 10 per. So 10 here, 10 there, 160 and 170, finishing off our 170 save data deck.